Let's get into the advisory now, and Allianz Retire Plus has been looking closely at how Australians actually make retirement decisions. It is a very real-world picture, not just theory. I'm joined by Justine Marquet to unpack what they found. Justine, great to have you with us. So what have you done here and what have you found?
We've done some research with the help of Accenture, and we've found that people are hesitant in retirement around spending, around making decisions, not because of the amount of money they have, but because of the uncertainty that exists, particularly around their later retirement.
Yeah, it's interesting that how cautious people were in this survey finding at the point of retirement. I mean, wouldn't that be the time you kick up your heels and have some fun?
Yeah, I think that's what we perceive, right? That's what we imagine, and we can more vividly imagine the first part of our retirement when we want to travel and all the exciting things that we might do. But what happens is, because what we see from this research is that people see retirement in two stages, two chapters. So we've got this sort of active, more vivid first 10 or 15 years, but because we have this later period, which is much harder to visualise, much more uncertain, we're not sure what our health would be, if we'll outlive our money, all of those kind of things. And what that does is then drive some inertia and some reluctance to spend early in retirement because of that uncertainty.
For the second chapter.
Yeah.
So I guess, how does that two-chapter mindset then show up in real life?
It shows up, yes, in what we call decision inertia, or a reluctance to spend. Also, just showing up in present bias and things like that. We really discount very heavily and irrationally the value of sort of longer term benefits, or things that will help support us and give us confidence later in life for present flexibility. So it becomes an unwillingness to commit, to sort of put in place things that might be irreversible, or we perceive might be irreversible. So we retain that bias for flexibility and options.
I can imagine if people went into retirement with not a huge balance, why they might be feeling like that. But is it coming across, SMSF, self-funded retirees, wealthier retirees as well?
It is, and that, I think, is one of the most interesting things about this piece of research, is that we see these emotional and behavioural outcomes are totally unrelated to the amount of wealth or savings that people have. They're driven by that uncertainty and lack of confidence rather than the amount of money that they have in the bank.
So if this uncertainty about the future is driving some of the hesitation, what do you think actually helps people make better retirement decisions?
There's a few things. I think a key thing is to make decisions that will support certainty earlier in retirement. We're much better at handling complexity when we're younger, and we're able to think about consequences. So if we can put in place strategies that will give us more certainty later, and that will give us more confidence to act now in our early years of retirement, because we've got that confidence around what our later retirement will look like.
And where do lifetime income solutions fit into this picture?
They fit in because what they are able to do is guarantee that minimum spend, or that minimum amount of income that someone feels they'll need in retirement. So by being able to give people confidence that that income will be there, it enables them to spend more confidently in those more active years, in that first 10 or 15 years, because they're not hesitating. They know the money will be there in the later uncertain stage of retirement.
So for anybody who's watching that might be nearing retirement or already retired, what's one practical thing that you think they should be thinking about right now?
I think that they should investigate looking at building confidence earlier by seeking advice earlier, and perhaps building in layers of income into their portfolio rather than just relying on market performance. So by building in early some sort of guaranteed income future, they're able to really have that confidence when they retire at the start and maintain that all the way through.